Hey, okay, I am going to talk to you about organizing your business and kind of how to prepare for taxes at the end of the year. So, we don't have a lot of paperwork in Mary Kay, but we have some. And honestly, if you keep up on it weekly or at the least monthly, at the end of the year, you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, what do I need to do? It's so simple if you're doing this on a weekly basis. Plus, it ties into your weekly accomplishment sheet, restocking your products, things like that. So, here's what I've always done. Whenever I get sales slips, whenever I have a receipt that I spent something to purchase something for my business, cotton balls, cookies, things like that, that helps me to run my business. I take those things and I set them in my office, like in a pile, or I actually have like a space in my office that is kind of like I need to input this stuff. And so it just all goes there. And then at the end of the week, when I'm ready to input my stuff, I pull it all out and I'll start entering it in. And so that's when I take my sales slips and I make sure that it's into the weekly accomplishment sheet, recorded, and then I'll tell you what I do with that after you do that. So you enter in all of your sales slips, and then you take all of your receipts and you're going to file those away. Okay, and so that would be like your input pile in your office, and then those things need to be filed away. So how I do that, first of all, the sales slip, there's always three pieces to it. And so the first piece I like to keep because that has the darkest print on it, and I want to make sure I have everything right. The second copy I always give to the customer, okay, and it actually says at the bottom, customer copy, and then I keep the third copy for myself as well. And so when I'm ready to file these away, you want to have an accordion file that is categorized A through Z. So you can then put your customer's profile card. If you're using the profile cards, have them fill it out. I always have every new customer fill one of these out. And then I file this A through Z alphabetically by their last name. Well, then you have two copies of this order form. You've already entered this into the weekly accomplishment sheet. So it's being tracked there, how much you're selling, how much you've collected in sales tax, all of that. And then I like to take the top copy and just put a paper clip behind their profile card. Okay, so then as you continue to sell products to her, you're continuing to put her orders behind her profile card. So if for some reason she ever says, hey, I need that lipstick that I purchased 3 years ago, you can go back and you can see what she actually purchased. That bottom copy, you can keep it separate if you choose to. This is really kind of double doing it, but it's if you're really into details and you really want to make sure you're covering your buttons, then for whatever year it is, whether you started your business this year, in the middle of the year, it doesn't matter. Just whatever year it is, you're going to put all of your sales slips in that little, like I have a manila envelope for that. So it'll be like year 2020, everything that I sold is in this file, okay? And that way at the end of the year, you have every sales slip in this file, okay? Now, I say that's double duty in it because when you go to your weekly accomplishment sheets, you can print off a report that says this is how much I sold. So you don't have to have that, but if you feel like you want to have that extra step, you can. Okay, so then at the end of the year, you have a report that you can print off your weekly accomplishment sheets for the whole year. How much did you sell that year? How much did you collect in sales tax? How much did you give away as far as like free gifts, things like that. So that's how you keep track of your people, your customers, A through Z. You can always go pull her file, see what she has as far as skincare, things like that. Now, another thing that I like to do is, you're going to want to put her into InTouch. So we're also working with My Customers app. So you can have all of that entered into the My Customers app at that appointment. So if you're going to enter her in digitally, that's fine. You won't have one of these. You can always go pull up her file from your My Customers app or just the My Customers on InTouch. You can pull it up. You'll click everything that it says here. So you'll have that at your fingertips too. So you know if she's combo to oily, any concerns with her skin, things like that. There's a notes section in there, so you can type up notes as far as, you know, what she tried, what her wish list is. If you guys talked about anything in particular at that appointment that you want to make sure you notify yourself so you don't forget. And you can continue to add those notes. So some people are getting away from the profile card. It's really your preference. So if you feel like you want to have some sort of paper background, this is what you would do, okay? And then you would just put the sales slip behind. Okay, then how do you track your receipts? So you're gonna get another accordion file, probably something smaller, and you can separate it by business expenses. So let's say postage, clothing for your business, like if you buy a red jacket or a new skirt, conferences, if we go out and eat and talk Mary Kay, all of those things. You can just really separate them by pretty broad categories. Well, as you have your receipts, you just take that receipt and you drop it into that category. At the end of the year, you pull out the postage category, you add it up, and you're gonna plug that into a one-page printed report that we have, and that's what you give your accountant. So you just pull out each expense type, tally it up, plug it into that piece of paper, give that piece of paper to your accountant, or use that if you do your own taxes. Okay, so that's how you track receipts. That's what you do with your order forms, how you can track what your customers buy if you're going to do it paper route. Now, if you're only going to do it digitally, then you just use your My Customers app, or you enter them in under the My Customers, you write your notes. Every time she orders, you're gonna make sure you have that in there by using the My Customers app, and you can go and click on her name and you can see all of her orders, okay? So some of this is just upon your preference. Okay, so pull that out, enter in receipts, enter in sales slips, file those away, okay? That is something that I would encourage you to do on a weekly basis just so you can keep up on it. The other thing is, every time I do that, then I make sure I update my order. So everything that's pulled off of your shelf, you need to restock it, or you're not going to remember that. You're not going to remember all the products that you sold. And so every time I do that, I'll just take those orders and go create an order on InTouch and add all of these products to my basket, click save, and you can continue to do that each week until you're ready to order, so that you're not missing things. Another important point about that is if you pull products for demo or you pull products for personal use, go ahead and write up a sales slip. Okay, so personal use, you can just put personal use, and that's going to be entered into the weekly accomplishment sheet too as personal use, so you can track how much product did I use this year. Okay, the reason I write up a sales slip on that is so that I remember to reorder that product that I pulled off of my shelf. Same for demo. So anything that I take off my shelf to demo out, I want to restock it. So I add it into my order to restock it. And then on the weekly accomplishment sheet, you're also putting in demo so that you can track how much product you pulled from your shelf for demo for the year. Okay, and that's going to all be available to you on a yearly report from InTouch on your weekly accomplishment sheet. So I hope this helps so you know how to stay organized, and we'll see you later.